Welcome to today's session. Welcome to today's session of Gravithon 2021 on topic social entrepreneurship in digital era. This is Tashu, your host for the session, and I hope you all will be having a great time in today's session. First of all, introducing you all to the speaker of the session. She is Tadesse, founder and CEO of Invertica, also a global youth ambassador, Western Union Foundation Accelerator Fellow. She's also alumni of Lovely Professional University, and then she went to Stanford University. She also has many publications of her. Some of them are 5 important lessons for every aspiring entrepreneur, a virtual experience at a global conference, Women's Right Denmark, 5 powerful TED Talks for entrepreneurial mind students, and many more. She's also profiled by the African Union as one of the young innovators of 2020. She is also an award-winning journalist. We are pleased to have her here for today's session. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Tashu, for the introduction. Happy to be here.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and all over to you.
Great. Okay, let me share my screen.
Yeah.
Let me know if you can see my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Thanks. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eden. I'm a multi-potentialite dreamer, doer. As Tashu mentioned, I'm also the founder and CEO of Invicta. My mission statement is to help young people like you unlock their full potential. I'm also a global citizen, multi-passionate entrepreneur, human rights activist, and writer. So first off, what is social entrepreneurship? So social entrepreneurship is defined as the venture of starting a business in order to solve a social problem and create positive change. Why should you become a social entrepreneur? I've outlined 5 key reasons: to empower communities and individuals, to create opportunities where there are none, to leverage your knowledge and skill set in a meaningful way, to inspire others to do good and create lasting impact, and also to create a lasting legacy for yourself. Social entrepreneurship also contributes to the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. So these are the 17 SDGs that I've outlined. Oops. And social entrepreneurship is a very positive way of contributing to these SDGs. What are some of the qualities of a social entrepreneur? Well, these are some of the qualities that I think of when I think of very successful social entrepreneurs. Someone who is innovative, someone who is resourceful, someone who is results oriented, someone who is strategic, someone who always has a plan to do something, someone who is driven by purpose, someone who is adaptable. That you always have to be flexible, because as an entrepreneur, you go through highs and lows in your business, and you always have to stay strong and adaptable to those changes. Someone who is also a good communicator, someone who is determined. You have to persevere no matter what you go through as an entrepreneur. You have to be disciplined. That's also a key quality of a social entrepreneur. And you have to be coordinated and organized. You have to work well in a team if you're in a team. If you're a solo entrepreneur, you have to work well with your stakeholders, with the communities, with the people you're serving, your business partners, anybody. So I would say these are one of the 10 most important qualities of a social entrepreneur. Here are some famous social entrepreneurs. You may recognize some of them. The first one is Scott Harrison. He's the founder of Charity Water. Second is Christina Lowry. She's the founder of Grow Rising. Third one, more famous, who's Mohammed Yunus. He's the founder of Youth and Yunus. The fourth one is Shiza Shahid. She's the founder and CEO of Malala Fund. And the last one is Bill Dayton, who is the founder of Ashoka. And all of these are very famous social entrepreneurs who have large organizations that are working to tackle change in their communities. So if you want to get into social entrepreneurship, what do you need to do? First of all, you need to find a problem worth solving. I'll talk a bit about that later on. Second of all, you should volunteer. You should give back to your community in a meaningful way. If you find a problem worth solving, maybe volunteer in those areas and really immerse yourself in that problem. Third one is really key. It's really important, is to do as much research as you can, to read and read and read. Read about entrepreneurship, read about problem solving, read about all the global issues that are happening, but don't just read about the problems. Also make yourself aware of the solutions that are out there and how you can, with the skills and the knowledge that you have, how can you make a contribution? So all of that is really important. The fourth one is talking to relevant stakeholders. So you need to, like I mentioned before, you need to be a good communicator. That means you need to be open to approaching people who you've never spoken to before, because they're relevant for your business, they're relevant for the issue that you're tackling. So you need to really go out there and be asking the right questions to engage more people in your cause. The fifth one, and also one that has been very successful, or one that has proven to be very beneficial for me, is mentorship. So you need to find someone who really believes in your cause, someone who with their skills can really help to accelerate your business, and just someone who you could use as a sounding board for any ideas that you may have, ideas, questions, problems. Mentors are extremely important, not just in the beginning and not just in the middle, but at every stage of your business. And I'll talk a bit about where you can find a mentor online later on. The sixth one is joining an accelerator or a business incubator. That's also really important. I'll talk a bit about that later on as well. If you don't know what an accelerator is, it's basically an organization or a company that takes on entrepreneurs, or either accomplished entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, and helps them help these entrepreneurs develop their business ideas. Or rather, they'll help you create a business from scratch. They'll give you all the tools you need, the funding, the network. And they take you on basically because they really believe in you and your potential. So if you've heard of maybe some incubators in your city, in your town, maybe it would be good to, learn more about them. What kind of entrepreneurs are they interested in supporting, and so on. And the last one is to grow your business idea. So whether you're with an accelerator or without an accelerator, it's really possible to scale your business idea. But you must always be thinking about growth. How can I get from step A to step B? And there are many ways of doing that. So what social issues are you passionate about solving? So all of these are, all the different social issues that are out there, and all of them are equally important as the other one. But this is definitely something to think about at the beginning. If you're interested about social entrepreneurship, then you should really be thinking about what issues specifically you want to solve. That could be unemployment, poverty, environment, education, immigration, global warming, whatever it is, it has to really matter to you. And like I mentioned, another good step would be to volunteer with an organization, an NGO, anybody who could give you a real life experience into these issues. And that's always definitely important for your future. So this was a survey done by the Schwab Foundation, and they found, they surveyed lots of people, and they found that these are the top 10 issues that people are really keen on solving. So the first one is education, and then economic opportunity and development, entrepreneurship and enterprise development, healthcare, environment, climate and circular economy, gender equality, financial inclusion, workforce development, rural development, and children and youth rights. So your problem may lie under one of these categories, but if it doesn't, then that's totally fine. This is just to give you an information about what social entrepreneurs out there are really working on. I don't know how clearly you can see this, but this is also from the same foundation. They released a report, and these are the countries where that have the highest density of social entrepreneurs. And as you can see, India is number 1. And then it goes on to United States, and then Kenya, Brazil, South Africa, and so on and so forth. So just knowing that there are so many social entrepreneurs in India, actually the most in the world, should just give you a brief overview of all the support that's out there in India. Support from organizations, support from funders, resources, anything to help you. And also just a large network of social entrepreneurs. That means that you can easily access these people, talk to them, learn from them, and yeah, anything that can help you grow your business. So what does social entrepreneurship really look like in the digital era, which is now? First of all, because of COVID, but even before COVID, organizations have moved their teams online and have decided to manage their teams globally, remotely. So this means using software like Slack, Google Meet, and all of that. They're just running their business completely virtually, and it's possible. And it didn't look, social entrepreneurship didn't look anything like this, 50 years ago, 100 years ago. But today, this is what reality is. Entrepreneurs are managing their business online 100% and very successfully. The second is automation of tasks. So a lot of the tasks that entrepreneurs used to do 50 or 100 years ago are now being done online using different softwares and so on, which has made it much easier for entrepreneurs to really focus on the stuff that matters. Number 3 is greater access for funding and partnerships. I could actually attest to this as an entrepreneur. I have received lots of opportunities for funding, lots of opportunities to partner with different organizations that are interesting and relevant to my business. And the reason why all of that is accessible to me is because I'm living in the digital era. And therefore, I have greater access to social entrepreneurs. I have access to investors online. And it's very easy for us to find each other and communicate, and then share resources to help each other. The fourth one is connecting with the world. So connecting with everybody, doesn't matter where they are in the world, has become very possible. And that's a key component of growing your business. You could meet a founder online and you could start talking to them, just because what you're working on and what they're working on is very interesting. But the next thing you know, you're finding ways to collaborate. And then after that, you form a strategic partnership, So there are lots of possibilities out there. And the reason that you're able to connect with the world is because we're living in the digital era, and it's possible to meet and share resources, share ideas, share information with anybody in the world. It's becoming more and more easy and more accessible. And that in itself is a huge benefit to our business. And the last one is exposure and visibility like never before. So not just visibility for you, but visibility for your business. You can set up a web page, you can set up a landing page, you can create web applications, you can sign up to different platforms that enable you to meet with other founders, investors. So it's become much simpler to start a business online, to network, to learn. And the whole process has really become very flexible for young people like ourselves. If we're in college right now, we're not really thinking about starting a business, but we're interested in the idea. There are lots of platforms that we can sign on to that will inform us of any opportunities that are out there, that could connect us with other, either college students or entrepreneurs, so we can learn and we can just gain visibility also for the work that we are doing. I think that's really, really important. So this is kind of like an overview of what social entrepreneurship, or rather just entrepreneurship, looks like in the digital era. So just to give you a quick recap of what my journey with social entrepreneurship looked like. So my career aspirations started here, which is a Catholic church at my school. I started volunteering here when I was 14 or 13 years old. No, when I was 14 years old, yeah. So I started developing a website for this Catholic church, and that really enabled me to do what I was very passionate about, which was technology or web development. And while I was there, I noticed that there were lots of orphans at the church that weren't really getting the support that they needed. So I came up with an idea, which was also to create a volunteering program where young people like me, who were high school students at the time, could volunteer their free time to support these orphans with education, reading to them, feeding them, doing anything that we can to support them. So I created my first volunteering opportunity And then at the end, I just ended up getting all my best friends involved, which was really cool. And we used to volunteer there for many, many months after school. That was collaboration. So, like I said, at the beginning, it's really important to volunteer, to immerse yourself in your community, your local community, because there's always something that you could be doing. And then, service above self. You should always consider giving your free time, volunteering all your free time to be a productive member of society. So that's what I did. And I combined all these three passions of mine: technology, service, and collaboration. And this kind of was the start of my, you could say, career aspirations. And then when I was 16 years old, I was invited, I got my first paying job as a software development intern, but I also won my first international award called Courage in Journalism. So I was awarded for my investigative journalism. So I also started getting into, writing and online journalism and blogging. And when I was in high school, I also started creating different associations that were related to social impact. So the first one was called Eden's CAS Counseling Service, and CAS stands for Creativity, Action, and Service. So this service was enabling middle school and high school students to get support with their different activities, whether it be sports, arts club, their community work, any of that. So basically what I was doing, I was providing a counseling service for free to all of them, to make them, to enable them to find these opportunities, leverage them, and, make meaningful impact in their communities. The second one is Interact Club. If you've heard of Rotract Club or Rotary Club, so Interact Club is basically the baby version of that. And if you Google Interact Club, you'll find many of them around the world. But I created the first one in my school, and it was a huge success. We focused on environmental projects like recycling, and we also focused on community service projects. And the third one is also a journalism club. As I said, I was really interested in writing and blogging and getting the word out there, so I created my own journalism club. And it was really, all these three clubs were circled around my passions and my interests, but also giving back to the community or giving back to the students at my school in some way or the other. And all in all, I was a happy teenager because I was kind of identifying things that I really like to do. And that was revolved around collaboration and creating new initiatives. So kind of like developing an early entrepreneurial spirit. And then when I was 18 years old, I got a full scholarship to study at LPU, as Tanshu mentioned earlier. And India has been my dream country since I was maybe 13 years old. So at the time, it was a dream come true. And I also got to study IT, which was, my passion. And again, I was doing everything. I was involved in lots of clubs at LPU, and I was volunteering with Isaac. And I was just living an authentic life because it was everything that I had wanted. Also, when you're studying abroad or when you're studying away from your town or your city, you get to feel some sort of independence, and with independence comes some sort of responsibility. And also I was writing more than ever. I was writing for LPU happenings, which at the time was kind of new, but I was also writing for a blog called Odyssey, which was a US-based blog. And now I kind of shifted from all these platforms, and I just started publishing my own pieces on Medium. And then in my freshman year, after completing my freshman year of college, I decided to take a gap year because that was the year 2017. And that was the year of the worst refugee crisis in Africa. So here I just outlined the 5 steps that basically outlined my journey during that year, which was that I saw a global problem, which was the refugee crisis. I did my research, and at the time there was abundance of articles and books and everything that you could read. And then I came up with a game plan just to go home and support as much as I can. But I wanted to be really useful. So that means that meant that I had to work independently and not with any organization. But after creating the game plan, I decided to take time to take action. So I went home, and that was my year of impact. And that was the year that I immersed myself in the refugee crisis. And I said, there's something that needs to be done about this problem, because this is a continuing problem. This is something that's never going to stop: displacement. it's going to happen as long as climate change is there, as long as war is there, as long as persecution is there. So instead of ignoring this problem or reading an article and saying, oh, that's really horrible, what's happening there, instead of saying that, you could actually say, I wonder, okay, I have these skills and I have this knowledge, so what could I do to actually involve myself in this problem and create impact for these young people who have been forced to flee their homes? So over the course of those years, the experiences that I gained were in politics and management, digital marketing, startups, journalism, women's rights, human rights, and animals' rights. And the skills that I had developed through these experiences were negotiation, strategic thinking, time management, community building, networking with different people, and also public speaking. So when you go through all these different experiences, you get opportunities to, I don't know, speak to a different class about digital marketing, or your experience abroad, your experience learning abroad, and then when you enter the startup world, you're really, really challenged. People see how good you are with time. They see how good you are with relationship building, with your co-founders and so on. So you're really tested, and you really have to give it your all. So I would say, jump out of your comfort zone and try new experiences, because that's really where you learn the bulk of the skills and where you really find that growth that you've been looking for. And so really the beginning of my career trajectory happened when, after my gap year, I went back to LPU and I finished my degree. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to work on the refugee crisis. I'm going to devote my life and my time to solving this problem. So that's kind of where my journey began with social entrepreneurship, in a sense that I was recognized and accepted by an impact accelerator in Norway. And so I was lucky enough to work with them for about a year. And these are my two co-founders, Thomas and Kusai. Kusai is from Syria, Thomas is from Spain. And the impact accelerator actually paired me with both of them once I was accepted into the program. And they helped us launch. At the beginning, we had an idea. So they helped us do lots of research. We had a mentor who was by our side the entire time. They helped us build our idea, and then we created an MVP. And then they helped us test it. They helped us launch. So Invicta, in short, is a digital platform that connects skilled refugees in their host country with remote job opportunities globally. Because there is a huge skills gap and an employment crisis that's happening within refugee communities. So we basically match them with companies that are looking for their skills. And this was the idea at the beginning. But when you're a social entrepreneur, you constantly hear of more and more social problems that are happening in the world. So you really have to keep an open eye. You have to do your research. You have to think realistically, how can I support in these areas? So while we've been doing that for the past 2 years, we realized that, okay, employment is one issue, but another issue is lack of education. And another issue is workforce development. And the last issue is mental health. All these issues, of course, related to refugees and internally displaced people around the world. So we develop programs and are already having different programs and a platform to help refugees meet their needs with these issues. So like I mentioned, we launched while I was still in India, finishing my degree. And then we grew the company in Norway as we were part of the accelerator. And then we scaled the company in Ethiopia. So 3 different continents, working remotely for the majority of the time, but it was still a success. So no matter what happens, or let's say you build a startup with a co-founder and that co-founder has to go to Canada for, his master's or something, don't give up hope, because it's really possible to scale your business online. To have impact, to communicate, you just really have to, have those qualities that I mentioned. You have to be determined, you have to be adaptable. You can't just keep thinking in a narrow way, because business is very up and down, and you really have to keep an open mind, and you have to adapt to these different changes that are happening. So never give up, because everybody's entrepreneurship journey looks different, but yours will definitely be a success if you stay determined, if you stay open-minded, and you have that drive in you. You're driven by the purpose. You're driven by a cause that you really want to solve. So my top tips for entrepreneurial success: first of all, stay curious and stay humble. Learn as much as you can online, because right now, more than ever before. There are resources, there are people online who are just dying to give you, they're dying to support you with their knowledge and their skill set for free. They just want you to commit your time. So, if you're in college, that's fine, but there's always some free time that you have, whether that's, in between semesters or in between exams. Leverage that time, instead of like watching movies or doing things that take up a lot of your time, for example, social media. You could subscribe to a startup blog, or you could sign up to Y Combinator, which is a great platform to meet with other entrepreneurs. Doesn't matter if you have a business, doesn't matter if you have an idea, it doesn't even matter if you don't have an idea. There are platforms and resources out there to support you. But you have to stay curious, and no matter what, you have to stay humble. Second one is get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I've heard this many, many times in my entrepreneurship journey, but it's really when you become an entrepreneur that you really understand what I mean by that. Like I mentioned before, being an entrepreneur, you go through lots of ups and downs. Sometimes everything is going great and you think like, I can't get success more than this. Like, this is really great. And then something happens that really destroys your confidence or something. And at that time, you have to be resilient. Otherwise, your co-founders may lose interest in the business, or the people that you're serving could not get, the support that they really need. So you really have to be, comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's kind of what the journey is all about. It's not a straight line. You go up and down, and you just have to be prepared. Like, at your highs, you have to be happy, but you have to stay humble. When you're getting lots of success, when you're getting funding, when you're getting recognition from your university, stay humble through all of that. But when you're going through your lows, you have to stay comfortable. You have to stay strong for your team and the people that you're serving. The third is being authentic and decisive. Be authentic. That's very important. I think maybe that's the most important key here, because when you're an entrepreneur, you get to travel, you get to meet lots of people. You have no idea where your business will take you. I had no idea that I would ever go to Norway. And I have been to many other countries to promote the startup as well. And through all of it, the key thing that has helped me stay very successful and true to myself is just being authentic in everything that I do in the business, in my operations, and the things that I'm sharing with other entrepreneurs. I'm sharing about my experiences and telling you that nobody's entrepreneurship journey is perfect. We see people like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, who are just so successful, wildly successful. You have amazing companies that are impacting millions, but you don't know all the struggles that they went through. And they went through lots of different struggles. But the reason why they have a smile on their face now, and that they really earned what they got, is because they were authentic through it, all of it. And be decisive. If you're indecisive, that makes you lose confidence very early on. So it's good to be decisive. Build confidence through experience. So like I mentioned, volunteering is really one good way of doing that, but another might be interning at a company, at a local company, or getting an apprenticeship or something like that. Getting real world experience is very key. So build up your CV, take courses, take trainings, and that way you will be very, very confident for whatever awaits you in your future. And the last one is protect your time. Time is the most valuable resource that we have in this world. We don't get it back. So time management, make sure that what you're spending your time on is very meaningful and you're mindful of that. So don't just, like, if you have a free weekend, for example, sometimes, it's Sunday night, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it's already the end of the weekend. And you say that because you weren't mindful of the way you were spending your time. But if you have a plan for the weekend, if you have a plan for your day or your afternoon, and you say, okay, I'm going to spend the first half an hour eating my lunch. I'm going to spend the next half an hour watching a TED Talk. I'm going to spend the next half an hour going on Y Combinator and meeting a new founder or doing this. If you're mindful about all of that, then you get to utilize your time. So protect your time, because it's very valuable. So these are the top 5 resources that I would like to share with you. The first one is the Yay community. So if you just Google Yay community, it will pop up. And this is a really great platform for aspiring entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs around the world. It's free. and you get so much value from joining this community. First of all, they have like a mentee, mentor, matching platform where they get to match you with mentors around the world, those who are extremely relevant for you. So if you have an idea in your mind and you're looking for someone who is an expert at finance or an expert in marketing, they will match you with them. So it's a really great community, and they share lots of opportunities if you're interested in traveling internationally to learn about entrepreneurship, or if you're looking for funding for your business, they give you all of that for free. It's a really great platform. The second one is Youth in Eunice. Youth in Eunice, they have a yearly fellowship for entrepreneurs. As you know, it's the network or the organization. The social organization was founded by Muhammad Yunus. So you get to learn a lot about him and his values when it comes to social entrepreneurship. And just by joining their network and by, for example, subscribing to their newsletter, you get to hear of lots of different opportunities in their network that are relevant for you. So it's very good, and I would highly recommend you join that. The third one is Young Sustainable Impact, which is the impact accelerator that I was part of. And it's a really great accelerator. And right now they just launched a new virtual program for aspiring entrepreneurs worldwide. So if you want, I could share the link for you. But I think if you also Google their website, the link should already be there on their homepage. The fourth one is LinkedIn. So I would say, for me, I don't really categorize LinkedIn as social media. For me, LinkedIn, for example, is different than Instagram. And LinkedIn is more like a professional networking platform. You get to meet lots of different professionals around the world who can help you in your entrepreneurship journey, who can help you learn more about the different issues that you're interested in. And sometimes, just by clicking that follow button, you get to be inside someone's network, and you get to hear about all the different articles they're publishing, all the different talks they're doing, because now people are utilizing LinkedIn more than ever. They're using it as like a content creator platform. They're publishing articles, they're publishing videos of themselves, like webinars. They're like free courses on LinkedIn. So you can get so much value from LinkedIn. And as you know, it's free. So I'm sure most of you are already on LinkedIn, but try to utilize it as much as you can. What I do is I set aside 15 minutes every 2 weeks. And in this 15 minutes, I just close every application except for LinkedIn. And I search 3 people who are extremely valuable, who would be extremely valuable to support me in my business. And then I send them a message and a connection request. And this is just basically because I see LinkedIn as a very valuable asset. So I set aside 15 minutes of focused time. And in that time, I do my research and I reach out to these people. And yeah, you get to hear from them, you get to learn from them. And like I said, protect your time, making the most of your time. That's always key. And the last one is Micro Mentor. Micro Mentor. So all these resources that I'm sharing are always 100% free. Micro Mentor is a platform that connects you with mentors around the world. And it's a great tool, and I'm recommending it because I've met 2 mentors on this platform who have really helped scale our business and transform our business in ways that I never imagined before, because obviously they're experts. But another thing is, they're experts and they're giving you their time for free. And sometimes they even see their business. I mean, they see your business as their business. So they try to immerse themselves in the problems that you're having, and they give you really key advice, advice that you would probably have to pay someone for, but they give you for free because they are really committed to social entrepreneurship. Yeah, so thank you so much for your time, everybody. It was great to share with you. If you have any questions, I'll be taking those now. And if you want to reach out to me, if you have any questions or anything, you could go to reach.at/Eden, and you'll find all my social media handles. So whatever is relevant for you, just contact me if you have any questions. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. And everyone present here, if you all are having any question, just ask. It's the time for question and answer. So please comment down any question or ask in the Q&A section. Ma'am, we have one question that if ideas are unique, but there is no investment, then how to start business?
Okay, so if you have an idea that's quite unique, first of all, you need to grow that idea, because for many investors, just an idea is not enough. They would like to see a team, or if you don't have a team, if you're a solo entrepreneur with this unique idea, then they want you to prove to them why they should invest in your business. You know, investors want to see a return in their money, right? So you're asking them, maybe you say, I want $100,000 and I'll give you, let's say 50% stake in my business. But more than that, they want to see traction. They want to see that you actually went out there, proved that your idea is unique. How did you do that? Did you go to the biggest suppliers in your city? Did you make connections with different stakeholders? There's a lot to do, but if you really commit to that, then you can get investment from different investors. But in terms of fundraising, you have to be very mindful of that. Instead of targeting just random investors, you should really do research about what kind of investment funds you should target. Let's say your idea is, I don't know, a healthcare startup, then you shouldn't be targeting founders who give money to agricultural entrepreneurs or edtech entrepreneurs. You know what I mean? There are lots of investors right now, they're coming up with their own portfolio of like different entrepreneurs that they want to support. And this is because, it's not because they don't care about healthcare, but it's because they have expertise in the agriculture business or the education business, the edtech business. So they're more inclined to invest to those entrepreneurs. But there's still so many, I'm just giving this example, but there's so many entrepreneurs so many investors that give money to health tech entrepreneurs, right? So it's really a matter of doing your research and finding those people. But when you do that, you should also have a pitch deck ready. And this pitch deck basically shows why is your idea unique. If you approached me and your business aligns with my investment portfolio, then I'm going to ask you, and if we meet and we have a call, then you really need to prove to me why your idea is unique. But if you just have an idea and if you don't have a business yet, then like I mentioned, the resources in my presentation, those are really good resources to go to get support. But in terms of mentoring or just seeing what other founders are doing. And, if you can't get into an accelerator, that's fine, because right now, lots of companies are coming up with kind of these free accelerators or coming up with these free courses to help you from stage A to stage Z, basically. So if you have an idea, that's great, but you need to go to the next step, which is research. And then you need to go to the next step, which is testing, and then prototyping, and then so on and so forth. So yeah, it's great that you have that question, but you have to, go through the different stages to get more success in your business. Okay.
Okay, all right, ma'am. And anyone else having any question? I think everyone is done. I think no one has any question as of now. And thank you so much, ma'am. It was a really insightful, knowledgeable, and very motivating session. Thank you for your time, ma'am.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It was a great talk. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you so much, everyone, for attending today's session. And we will meet in any other sessions. So till then, thank you so much. And I hope you all will have a great day.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for coming, ma'am.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.